Good evening. I'd like to call the March 28th meeting of the Zoning Hearing Board to order. If you all stand, please, and help us pledge the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Jeannie, if you'll take the roll, please.
Ms. Alzamora. Here. Ms. Eske.
Here.
Ms. Hager.
Here.
Mr. Ozorowski.
Here.
Mr. Pucci.
Here.
Mr. Gertis. Here. Mr. Hart.
Here.
And our solicitor, Mr. McLennan.
Sorry?
Oh, sorry, I'm going off the minutes. Our solicitor. John Rule. Okay.
Joe, if you'll read our statement, please.
The Zoning Hearing Board will give all interested parties an opportunity to ask questions and testify in connection with the applications being heard tonight. After a witness for the applicant completes testimony, you will be given an opportunity to ask questions of that witness. In addition, after an applicant has completed its case, you will also be given an opportunity to testify, which will require you to be sworn in as a witness. If you wish to participate in the hearing on an application, you should complete the entry of appearance form, which will be provided to you by the zoning officer, who is sitting here, Mike. We ask your cooperation in maintaining silence during the hearings so that both the board and the court reporter can hear the testimony of the witnesses. We also ask that all cell phones be turned off.
Thank you, Joe. Just to review what Joe said, for those of you that have not been to a meeting before, an applicant will present their case. If you have questions of that applicant, you can come up and ask them questions. After the question period, if you have some statement for or against the project, you can then make those comments, and that's when you need to have the entrance of appearance form. The first item, if you all have the paperwork, the hearing for Z1902 has been withdrawn. So we will move on to our second hearing for the evening, and Mr. Rule will handle that.
And Mr. Nowak? This has been handed to me as solicitor because, unfortunately, there is a procedural issue that we have with this. And zoning is very technical in certain requirements. Our understanding is that you are changing the nature of what you are seeking approval for to go to a different side of your residence, and it appears that the relief that you're requesting will be different than what was in the application, and unfortunately it's different than what was in the notice that was given, that's required to be given to the public. If we were to proceed tonight, any member of the public could later appeal because of lack of notice. In other words, the zoning relief that I believe that you are seeking now, and frankly, we like what you're doing. We like the change. It makes sense. But unfortunately, procedurally, if we don't have the opportunity to re-advertise it, we have a major procedural defect that would render your appeal subject to challenge. We're not requesting or asking that you do an entirely new application, but we do request that the specifics of what you're asking for be put forth in clear writing, and that you identify in that any part of the zoning code for which you feel you need relief. Based on that, it can be re-advertised. Now, we have to get that, I guess, within a sufficient time frame to do the advertising, so exactly when that hearing would come up again might depend on how quickly that comes in and when the advertising can be completed. You will be notified of that. And as part of that, we are suggesting basically that you ask for a continuance tonight to give us the opportunity to solve that issue. And as part of that, we would also ask you to also agree to continue to waive the time requirements, the 45-day requirement we had before, to allow the time for the hearing to come up validly, and then be able to give you the chance to put your case on with no chance of a procedural appeal defect.
We do understand that. We thank you. We can put the new application that can be delivered tomorrow.
Okay.
And we agree to all that you've asked for, continuance.
Waiver of the time requirements.
Right.
Okay, very good.
Is there any benefit to showing the board just a brief overview of what we're expecting, just in the event that maybe there might be questions or anything that we could address prior to the next meeting?
I don't think so, in the
Yes.
sense that it couldn't be anything official, I realize, because if the public is not here to see it and to evaluate it. I think we understand what you want to do. The new drawings that were submitted make it quite clear, so I think we'll defer that to the next hearing.
Okay.
But thank you, and thank you for your understanding, and this is the way the law is at times.
Thank you.
So the next meeting is April 25th, if that works for you
That would
and
be fine.
and your
Thank you.
engineer. So if you will get with Mike and do the paperwork, he'll assist you.
Great.
Okay, thank you for your understanding.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes.
Have a good night.
You as well. Our next hearing, Gail, will you read that, please?
Sure thing. Hearing Z-9, whoops. Z-19-06, Joseph Groff, 1010 Sunnyside Avenue, Audubon, PA, 19403. The applicant is requesting a variance from section 143-37.A, paragraph, parentheses 2, to permit the construction of a three-season room on top of the existing deck in the rear yard of the house, with a 15-foot setback from the side property line. Ordinance requires a minimum of a 20-foot setback. The parcel ID is, of the subject property is 43-00-14210-01-2. Subject property is located at 1010 Sunnyside Avenue, Lower Providence Township, and is in the R2 residential zoning district.
Is there someone here to represent this?
Here or there?
Here, there is good.
Okay. Good evening. My name's Joe Groff. I'm here with my wife Cindy. And I guess when the house was built,
But first of all, we want to swear you in.
okay.
With-
Joseph Francis Groff. Groff. I do.
And then if Mrs. Groff will give testimony, she'll need to be sworn in too.
She's not going to.
Okay. Proceed.
So I guess when the house was built, the zoning code was a 15-foot setback off the side of the boundary line. And all we're looking to do is build right off the back end of the house. And, I guess the subsequent change from 20 to 15. Now, if I come straight back off, where the current deck is, it's less than the 20 feet. So, I'm looking for, the variance to be somewhere between the corner of the Three Seasons room would be somewhere between 15 and 20 feet. So, in talking to Mike, he said what was, when we're talking about the variance criteria, he said the most important thing the committee would be looking at would be altering the neighborhood, or if any of the neighbors would have an issue. I spoke to all the neighbors, surrounding me. They would have no issue whatsoever. And then he also suggested if there were other properties in the neighborhood that had the same issue, basically the same, they built a Three Seasons room off the back recreation room. And if Mike, if you'd go to the next slide, that's one right down 2839 Eagleville Road, right down the street. It's kind of a distance away, and there's a subsequent picture that might, there's a creek there, so it's the exact same house, Gambone built it, and I'm sure they put this house as close to the side setback as they could, 15 feet. Now, I didn't, measure from the, I didn't know exactly where the boundary line is, so this is the, but I'm sure if the house was built, with a 15-foot setback, and then they added that Three Seasons room on a deck, and then they have a little side deck off of that. So that's exactly what we're looking to do. Okay. Having said that, I mean, they're the two most important points that Mike said I would need to address the committee with. It's not going to alter the neighborhood at all. The current deck is rotted out. It's well over 20, 25 years. I'm not sure how old the deck is. And it's a situation where the afternoon sun just hits it, and, so I need to put something on it to make it usable. And then do anything other than coming straight back. If we could go back to the original slide, doing anything that would not come straight back off the back of the house. There's a slider in the middle of that recreation room that the deck comes off of, and I have, I'm using the existing footers. It's just not feasible. So if it were denied, I just basically put another deck up. So that's basically the application for the variance. If there's a need to go into any further detail, or just let me know. But that's basically the issue.
So will the three-season room be the same size as the current deck?
It's actually going to be a little smaller footprint, because if you look at the deck, and that's the last slide, Mike. You see, there's a little outcrop over the footers, so it's the I think the current deck is 20 by 20. The Three Seasons room will be a little less than that, so it will be a little smaller footprint. Now, the deck that we're going to build in the middle of the house, that's going to be not a part of the Three Seasons room. So if you could combine the Three Seasons room and the deck, open deck on the other side, yeah, it's bigger, but it's not going to come out any further than the current deck. So.
Anyone else have any questions?
Yeah, I'm looking at these drawings that you sent in, these two.
Yes.
So what is the actual dimensions of the room? Is it 20 by 12, or is it 12 by...
20 by 20.
20 by 20.
I mean, let me see here.
This one drawing looks like it's 12, and I was trying to figure out what it is.
That's the smaller deck. So it's 20. The deck is 20 by 20, and that's where the Three Seasons room will be. And then adjacent to it, there'll be a deck. So I'm not sure where you're getting the.
Oh no, I got it now. I think I just pointed out to me. You have to hold it up this way to see how it works. Got it. And who's doing the construction for
It'll
you?
be myself and my brother-in-law, who's the master carpenter. So.
What will the materials be?
Excuse me?
What would the materials be? Like what side?
We're going to do a timber deck, and the siding will be the same. The sight line off the house, like the picture of the house on Eagleville, it's going to be the same siding, so it'll look like, hopefully, the existing house. We'll run the siding, it'll be the same. It primarily will be windows, along the outside of the house, but the siding will match the existing siding of the house.
And Mike, this is a side yard setback?
Yes.
Because it just visually looks like it's going to the rear of the yard. I'm just trying to figure out, like, how's it a side? Well, is it,
Yeah, if you go back to that.
we didn't have that first plan that you put up. It wasn't in our packet, so.
Mike, the Google shot would help me kind of just visualize it.
I think what the issue is that to the left, the house itself is 15 feet
Yeah,
from
that's-
the side yard, and you're coming straight back along the wall
Okay,
of the house.
that makes sense to me then.
So-
Okay, I'm trying to figure out, like, is it, like, okay.
Yeah. And it just wouldn't look right if we, jogged it in to adhere to the 20 feet now. It just wouldn't, it would, not
So-
make sense at
So if
all.
you put the 20 by 20 addition on, how big would be then, what size would the deck be left? I mean, is there any other deck on the back of the house then?
No. Well, there's a little, that's the current deck. You see there's a,
That area, is that staying or going, or?
that's going to be raised up to the level of the Three Seasons room and extend it out to make it a little bigger. Right now, it's just a very small deck. So right now, it's a two-tier deck. But it's rotted out, and it's going to be, we're going to completely replace it with a timber deck, so I don't have to stain it, and all that nonsense. So,
Will you be able to access your backyard from this room?
yeah, there'll be the side entrance where you see where the steps are.
What? Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry, I can't use this. I don't know if it's working. And you just press the button. Okay. Yeah, there'll be a side door, and then all this will be windows all the way around, windows. And then there'll be steps off this, a deck where, the timber deck we're putting here, and then steps will be going down back towards the house. It's not going to go this way. It's going to go back down to the house. So,
And
Is
is
there
your-
direct access to the house from the deck?
there'll be there's a slider
Okay.
here, and then down the basement, there's a slider, so you could come out and then go up there'll be steps up here, up to the deck. So, and then, there'll be a slider here to go out the Three Seasons room onto the open deck. Does that make sense?
It does. And basically, you're going to cut, if I understand correctly, the little notches off and go straight across on top of the footers?
Yeah.
So, because you're going to go back, I'm sure that you don't want to put stress on that with the extra weight. Is that the reason, that you don't want the overhang
Right.
in the back?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's why it's maybe a little bit shorter than the 20 by 20. It may end up being 20 by 18 or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we have to add some footers in here because we're expanding this deck out here. But that's not going to affect, the Three Seasons room.
And you're already above ground level, so clearly it's not going to have any additional effect on water flow or anything. It's going to be
No.
exactly as it was before. It's not going
Right.
to increase or decrease or have any real change in the flow of the water after a heavy rain or whatever. It's not going to affect your neighbors.
Correct. And we have underground piping that takes, the gutters, the rainwater. We have them underground up to here, so it flows out. Everything is, flowing out.
And then that's where the downspouts for the new addition would go as well, the same area, like this?
Yeah, we wouldn't have to change the downspouts and the.
Well, I meant the downspouts for the new proposed addition. You gonna have gutters or anything for those, or just water's gonna flow off?
There'll be gutters.
Yeah. So that, I guess my question is are they gonna be discharged to the back just the way it is now?
Yes, and the ground slopes significantly,
That way? Yeah.
right, it flows, from the neighbor's property and my property right down through here.
You said you talked to your neighbor specifically. Did you talk to your neighbor to the left?
Yes, his name's Kevin, and his wife's name's Stacy. They just moved in there recently, to the left. And we have some arborvitaes here that aren't shown, and our plan is to add some cover here, some privacy. Whether they're going to be arborvitaes or not, I'm not sure, because we got a bunch here of the property, but we're definitely going to plant something in here to, you know, for privacy for both properties. But Kevin and Stacy had no issue whatsoever.
And when you say that, you explain to them you're going to be putting an addition on your house, a small three seasons room. I mean, they know what you're doing.
Yes, yeah. In fact, he's in.
You'd be surprised. Some people just say, "Oh yeah, we're going for zoning." They don't know what they're doing. So.
No, he's in construction as well, and he's going to be doing some work on his deck as well. And he was telling me he'd probably be before you guys at some point as well. And then, so there's a property here, and then Alan Harper is here. You know, this side, he has no issue whatsoever, and then the Hines on the other side have no issue at all either.
What do the
Great neighbors, yeah.
What do the two circles indicate?
Trees, which I had to take down. The one's an ash, and it got that emerald ash borer.
Yeah.
And the other's a maple, and that's, you know, I took them down because I didn't want to have any issue with the, you know, putting a new structure under it, and, you know, then it'd be more difficult to take the trees down. The ash was a pretty big one.
Anyone else? Okay.
I just wanted to make sure I understood your earlier comment. Is it the case that your existing house, the house proper, is also at 15 feet from the side yard?
Yes, yes. So see this line here, and this bump out is the fireplace.
Mm-hmm.
So this is 15. You know, it's not 20 feet. Let's put, you know. I think it. I don't exactly know where. I think it was like, you know, 17 feet. But the existing house is not
20 feet.
Not 20 feet, for sure.
So looking at this drawing, is that going to be another fireplace there too? In your?
It's going to be a propane, one of those. I got a quote from Salters before they burned down. But,
I'm sorry to hear that.
It'll be just a propane fireplace. You know, and yeah, I guess that's what they call it, just a propane fireplace. Yeah.
Yeah, but is that going to go out as further, or is it going to be flush? 'Cause some of those fireplaces go out like 18 inches or 20 inches.
I think it's into the room, and then, you know, it might bump out a little bit. But let me take a look at that.
Mike, if it's a bump out like that, I mean, I don't know our ordinance well enough to, is it going to automatically bump out for things like that, or do you have to ask relief for that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to make sure we get the right relief.
The ordinance isn't particularly clear, which isn't terribly surprising to y'all, but my interpretation historically has been basically if it doesn't go down to grade level, you know, I don't generally count that as an encroachment into the
whole thing doesn't go into the ground.
well, yeah, no, yes, I shouldn't. But the generally speaking, a bump out like that,
Like a bay window.
Like a bay, yeah, they usually there's an exception for bay windows and for
exactly.
chimneys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember what Bob, oh, she's not under oath. Do you remember Bob
Just whisper to him.
said about that?
You can do it either way.
Okay.
It all depends on what model it is.
Right. Because I think Salters would come out there at this, you know, be there at the same time, you know, when he's building the framework for it, yeah. Whatever, it wouldn't be significant, because I don't think that would look, you know, too appealing.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, I'm not being critical. I just want to make sure if you don't need any additional relief. Like if it's 15 feet, I don't want to come back and say it's now
Right.
you're 13 feet or 12 feet, you know?
Yeah.
Anything else, folks? Anything from the audience? Hearing none? We want to go back and have a little chat? We'll be back in a minute.
We'll be recessed.
We'll call the meeting back to order. We've had some discussion, and would anyone, would anyone like to make a recommendation?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion, please. I make a motion on the application of Joseph Groff, Z 1906. I would move that the application of Mr. Groff for a variance from section 143-37A2 of the Lower Providence Township zoning ordinance that requires a 20-foot side yard setback and to permit a 15-foot side yard setback be granted.
Do I have a second on that motion?
I will second it.
Call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations. You're good.
Thank you very much.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Appreciate it.
Anything else for the good of the group? Nope. Next meeting is April 25th. Call for an adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second that.
Call the vote. Favor?
Aye.
Dissent? Meeting's
Has
adjourned.
anybody ever dissented?
Yeah.
No.
No, I don't want to.